Hi there, beautiful souls watching. Thank you. I'm Gabrielle, retired medium in Germany, and I like to share some of my otherworldly experiences and insights. Welcome here. So this one is about, how to phrase that? The whole spiritual journey just in one symbol. I came across various comments and some conversations with people that attend to my channel, and it brought back to my attention that, I can only cite Yeshua, who said, "My people get lost because of lack of knowledge." And I know for myself that I'm just scratching the surface. I don't know a lot. I'm still learning, like you all are, if you're on your journey. But there is really a lack of knowledge. So there was a person who told me she has issues with fear, which is generally related to the root chakra, with the color red, like the blood, the life force. Without blood, no life. Like without sun, no life on this planet. But she told me she wanted to open up her third eye, and she tried and tried, and it didn't work. And I just kind of bursted out uncontrolled. Why do you want to open your third eye when you have issue with fear and already know you have issues with fear? Because if you do that before the right time, then you will set up the whole thing for failure. You will only see the dark stuff that scares you. So that's kind of a lack of knowledge, because there is an order in the divine blueprint of life, valid for all life forms. The grass does not grow faster if you push it, you know. That's a simple vernacular saying, but it is so true. And I have to go back to this chakra system. You have the 7 chakras with the 7 colors, the rainbow colors that physics can show you. If you split, how's it called? Sorry, bear with me. If you split a ray of white light through a prism, out come the 7 rainbow colors. And it is no wonder that our chakra system, the 7 chakras we know, there are some more, but we keep it simple with the 7, that they have the same rainbow colors. This is no coincidence. And the 7 hermetic principles, again 7. Wow, isn't that wonder? What a wonder. Yeah, there is no coincidence. One of the hermetic principles is stating exactly that. There is no coincidence. And there is divine order in everything. And what we call coincidence is just our misunderstanding of the divine communication in all that is. You know, plants communicate, crystals, rocks and stones communicate, animals communicate. We only communicate in language and words, and we have forgotten to use our sense of touch and feeling, which can open up the doors to perception of the ever-flowing stream of consciousness, always, everywhere, all at once, communicating and speaking to you. and to me, if we only listen and become quiet, silent, and calm inside, and go inside and open up our ears to listen. So, back to the point. There is one symbol that, to me, in my understanding, we can agree to disagree, no problem for me. You can just walk away and think I'm silly, I don't care. I know what I know, and I cannot unknow what I know now. So I know that there is a symbol, a very ancient symbol, that kind of encompasses the whole spiritual path, the blueprint of the divine. That even the apple seed, without knowing it consciously, has in its etheric kind of field and plan. Without knowing, it knows how to grow and where to grow out a branch and then the next one. And it takes time because it is a process. We are in 3D, although time is not real and an illusion, and outside of Earth there is no time, and all the sky people or sky brothers from other planets have kind of different perception of what we call time. So there is this one symbol that's showing it all to me. And it is the very ancient symbol of Thoth the Atlantean, in Greek mythology called Hermes Trismegistos, the thrice great Hermes. And it is the same as the ancient staff of Aesklepios, the healer from the Greek times. It is like you have kind of a little sphere down, then there is a line going up, and on the upper part there is a bigger sphere. Then you have the two kind of snakes, a symbol, a symbolization of our DNA, the two poles of force in this world, you know, the plus and minus, or the positive and negative, which does not mean good and bad. That's our problem, that we judge everything as good and bad and negative and positive. You're much closer to truth if you only make the discernment into service to self or service to others. But these two snakes around the staff of Hermes or Aesklepios, they are symbolizing our DNA, and it's kind of an upward spiral that they are forming around the staff in the middle. And on the upper part of the staff, with the sphere a little bit bigger than the one below, there are coming out wings. And wings have always been the symbol in dreams and also on the old Sumerian reliefs in stone, the symbol for the power of flight. And that comes with the higher consciousness, with the 3 higher chakras, with the third eye. Then you can spread out your wings and fly. So if you blend over the staff of Hermes, the chakra system, going from the root chakra upwards to the crown with the 7 rainbow colors, then you can get a very good idea about the divine blueprint. And it also looks kind of like a ladder. And if you ever climbed a ladder, you know that you start with the first step. If you want to start with the 3rd or the 5th, that's set up for failure because you miss out the first steps. So it's starting with the root chakra, having the color of red, like our blood. And that chakra deals with survival. And the counterpart, or the other opposite or pole of survival, is fear. And we needed some fear because our ancestors, when they were on the grassy plains and a saber-toothed tiger was approaching them, they had to run to get up on a tree to find safety there and not being eaten. So there is fear that is good and you need it to survive, and you have to integrate that, and then your root chakra will really shine with the light red, the brilliant color of red, and it will not look like a bit muddy or, not that clear. And so the second chakra is the sacral chakra, which does not have its name just by coincidence. In there is the word sacred, and it's got the color of orange, like the sun going up on the sky in the beginning of the day. No sun, no life. That's the power and the life force of the sun. That's why the sacral chakra is orange. Makes sense, doesn't it? And it is not by coincidence placed around your bodily region of your creative organs. And we're not only here to create or produce young, means reproduce, and you are allowed to have fun while doing that. No one forbids that. It's up to you how you deal with it. But the what to deal with is the same in the ladder for all of us. So, but all the creative power which is divine, like creating songs, music, singing, dancing, painting, whatever, arranging flowers, that's all in there as well. So it's so much more than just reproduction. And that's why it's called sacred or sacral chakra. And it deals with pleasure. And the other pole, which can block it if not healed, is guilt. So we're all more or less indoctrinated with guilt, maybe about our sexuality or whatever. I exited the church long ago, and I was brought up more or less, not too much by my parents, thank God, evangelic, but without them ever speaking about that, my parents, I had some kind of feeling of guilt about my body and these special sexual organs and what's starting to arise when you get older and enter puberty. So I felt guilty for that. So guilt also is a thing that can block you a lot in your sacral chakra and can hinder you to get access to your creative divine power, which is really housing and living there. And you got to deal with that. Guilt is, in my opinion, the wrong and false word. Because to me, as I see it, and we can agree to disagree, no problem, there is only responsibility, and that means the ability to respond. And some feel that much of responsibility and others that much. So it's depending on your individuality. That's why we have this colorful, diverse zoo, like I call it for myself, the divine zoo on this world, And it's not about judging about another one who's doing it differently than you are. And even if you think you are right, the first saying I learned with the Rosicrucian teaching was, if you think you got it, you just lost it. And even my guides, being the Elohim as well as some others, say, we don't know it all. Only Source knows it all. So, back to the point. Sorry for digressing, but my guides say even when I digress, there is something in there that someone might need to hear to get a confirmation about his or her own feelings. So I have a hard time to allow myself to digress, but they say it's okay, so here we go. And the third chakra from the 3 lower chakras is the solar plexus chakra. And in there is the word soul, the word for our sun, which is the ruler of our solar system. The star, the sun that gives life and light and warmth. So without it, there would be no life. And that chakra has the color yellow, like the sun on its highest point, although nowadays the sun is more whitish. When I was a kid, the sun in the sky was really yellow. So I notice that there's something going on, not only energetically, I can see it when I look at the sun, that is white today, nowadays. The whole solar system is undergoing a process of heating up, and heat is always, as the healers might know, a sign for energy flowing. It's vibrating and heating, and if you give energy with your hands, you can feel the hand chakra going hot. And sometimes I have the feeling when I'm giving a healing session, I could fry eggs on my hand palms. So, the solar plexus chakra is dealing with willpower. And the other pole of that, kind of what can block that, and the access to the power of that chakra is shame. So, and between the 3 lower chakras and the 3 higher or upper chakras, right in the middle, there is the heart chakra, and that is like a switch. To switch on, if you mastered and managed the 3 lower chakras, to switch on and open up the gateway to the higher chakras, to the access to the higher abilities, possibilities, and divine creative powers, however you want to label or name that. And the heart chakra has the color green. So first impression is what a trained medium always learned to work with before the head comes in and tells blah, 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 blah. Well, what is green? You know, look around you. Nature is green. The green leaves, everything is more or less green. So that connects you from the lower chakras, which deal more or less only with yourself and your problems or whatever issues you have or have not. That opens up to the outer world, the nature around you, all the leaves and trees. And some people hug trees, and I did that because I learned it from my Brazilian friends when I came over there first time 14 years ago, hiking through the jungle and being suddenly so exhausted that I thought I cannot make another step. And then these Brazilian women told me, well, go and hug a tree. And I was already a trained medium, but I had never tried that. And I hugged the tree, and the first thing I heard from the tree was, how can I help you? And I was moved to tears because of the selflessness and the giving of this wonderful being. The trees are wonderful beings. Once a tree invited me inside him or herself, and it was a wonderful little story that I made a video about called Inside a Tree. So the heart chakra deals with love, and love is what relates with others, not only yourself. But you have to practice love on yourself and have a good relationship with yourself first. Only then you know how to love another one in the outside world. Might it be a stone, a pet, or a plant? It does not matter. They are all conscious beings. They are all energy, and they're constantly communicating if we would only listen. So the heart chakra, dealing with love, is blocked by grief, because that's kind of the other pole in the polar duality world we still live in. If you love, you always risk being hurt or hurting others. And I heard the sentence once, I don't know from whom, but it's very true. Only hurt people hurt others, because they don't know better, and what they experienced is the first kind of impregnation in behavior, so they reproduce that and give it out again. And I have to cite Yeshua here again. He said, the toxic is not what's going into your mouth. Some people make a religion about eating and food. Yeah, you can do that, but it's not really that important. He said, the toxic is not what's going into your mouth. The toxic is what's coming out of your mouth. And I'll think about that just for a while, ponder on it. How often do we speak negative, accuse others, and are unkind and unfriendly? Or we get this from others that don't know better as well, that are hurt deep inside, and that's why they have to make negative comments, and that's all they can put out, negativity. Poor ones, I wish the best for you, that you will get it sooner or later. And turn around like Saulus turned into Paulus. He was prosecuting Christians and killing them. And then he made a 180-degree turn and became a follower of Yeshua. So, carrying on with the theme, the fifth chakra, after the switched on heart chakra, is the throat chakra. It's got the color of a light radiating blue, like the sky with no clouds, or the never-ending ocean, which gives you a very vast view to look at. And this color is so beautiful. I love it. And that chakra deals with truth, speaking truth and letting out your inner truth into the world. And it is blocked on the opposite side by lies. Doesn't that make sense? And the next chakra after that is the third eye, which got the color of violet, or indigo as some say. And it deals with insight. And in the word there is already inside, the inner sight, the inner eye, not these two looking outside and being manipulated by screaming headlines, screaming colors or whatever, or words and language that are partially even constructed purposefully to mislead us. I wanted to make a video about language and I was procrastinating, but I will make it because I had some very interesting observations about language, because I was interested in language. And it's not only about the words we speak, which are letters and the trial to label an energy. We agree that we call the energy that is green and growing in our garden, maybe, we call that tree, but it's a conscious being, and it's much more than just these 4 letters, you know. So language is a thing, and what attracted me much more is the melody. It is sound. If you speak, you create sound. And wasn't there in Genesis 2,000 years ago, we are made to believe it happened 2,000 years ago like that, the spirit of the divine hovering above the waters and speaking, "Let there be light." So it's not about the words, "Let there be light." I think it's much more about the sound. And as we are more than 70% water, and isn't it interesting that the site goes, it's hovering above the waters, it's a plural. So we have inner waters as well, a symbolic representation of our emotions. And in dreams, if you want to analyze dreams, it's always the symbol for the soul, which deals and speaks in pictures and vibration, which is sound and emotion. You can vibrate with anger, and you can jump up and down with joy. So movement and motion is very connected to sound. And many of the old ancient petroglyphs, they show this kind of circular thing, which is by the archaeologists interpreted as the circle of life. What does that tell you? Not really anything. But if you throw a stone into a pond, you see these waves. These are sound waves, and they form a circle around the point where you drop the stone into the water. And it's mostly 3, the 3 most close to the point where you drop the stone. So there's so much more to say about language and sound. And as I am able to speak several languages, 5, 1 dead one, Latin, but it helps very much to get the right meaning of some words we use without knowing what they really mean. So that circular spiral thing on the petroglyphs very often symbolizes sound waves. And the ancients put these signs on standing stones, on nod points of the ley lines, where they constructed temples or standing stones to move more or less a portal or a special power place and space, where also, because of the special energy of a ley line nod point, with mostly subterranean water which brings the movement and the sound of the water and energizes also this ley line nod point, they put these things there to mark the place of contact with higher consciousness, sometimes, quite often, in form of advanced beings, sky people, like the Native Americans say, that came down, and they were not all good or all bad. Some were kind of negative, service to self, oriented, and they tried to conquer and to rule and to dominate and exploit humans and humanity, and others came to help and teach, like the white buffalo woman. That is a legend in itself from the Indians, from the Native Americans, and they kept so much knowledge that we have forgotten or never knew. And we're not guided to know because the world is going a different path. It's just filling up our heads with unnecessary stuff, which is not really true and does not help you on your own spiritual journey or your own spiritual path. So back to the point. Here we go. The third eye chakra has the color of violet and is dealing with insight, and it is blocked in the opposite pole of it by illusion, which means, well, kind of delusional ideas, concepts, pictures or images that lead us astray. And then the highest point on the top of our head, the so-called crown chakra. Why do you think it's called crown chakra? I can feel it sometimes, especially in the last time where the energy of our sun with the sun flares coming in, not only bringing kind of EMF impulses that cause some difficulties with all our technical devices and the tech stuff. It is consciousness waves and particles, and they work on our DNA and our consciousness. So I can feel it quite often, not like a point, like the chakras are very often depicted as kind of a point with the color and the place where it belongs in this kind of ladder that goes from below to upwards. I can feel it like a ring on my head, and it really feels like a crown. Maybe that can give you another idea. And the crown is open to the upside so that there can come in more, because it's kind of like a funnel. And the crown chakra deals with cosmic energy and has the color of white, like the white light that splits up into the 7 rainbow colors of our chakra system. And it is on the polar opposite, blocked by, listen well, ego attachment. So what I love about animals is they don't lie. They like you or they dislike you. And that's a clear answer. And you can learn to deal with that. I like it more than a person saying to me, "Oh, how nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah." And I, as a medium, can feel, "I hate this woman," you know? So they're speaking not the truth, they're speaking other words than what they feel and think. And in our process of individuation, to climb up the ladder of evolution, we have to develop an ego. But nowadays, it's really overwhelming and overboarding, and animals don't have that, at least not the ones that are the wild animals and have no contact with humans. Pets that come closer with animals, with us humans, they come into relation with us, and they learn from us also some false things that we already produce and live and give out. But they learn individuation, and you can see that a cat that is your pet behaves a bit different than a wild cat, because it stepped into its evolutionary process of individuation and developing a kind of an ego. But all that is to let go of the ego in the end, because ego attachment is what blocks and hinders most the access to cosmic consciousness, That's why in the higher planes, dimensions, densities, or realms, or however you like to call and label that, you're not dealing with single entities any longer. They are all united collective consciousnesses. I even have the feeling that Angel Gabriel is not an I, although he starts like that when I channeled him, and I have never channeled him before. He came up lately 2 times, and I was surprised myself, because up to that I channeled the Fae, the positive Fae, and the Elohim, the positive Elohim, not the fallen ones. And you can easily feel that by the quality of the messages they bring through me. They are always uplifting and positive and inspiring. And there is not this kind of negative thought or talk like, you have to, you shall do this and that and blah, blah, blah. That's ego talking. And in the lower 4D, the kind of demons or negative entities, they very much use that tactic, and they don't respect the free will, which is divinely given also on this planet Earth in our world. They overstep it and tell you what to do. So, if someone like that appears and tells you what to do, better take your legs and run. The cosmic consciousness will never do that, and positive beings also will never do that. They will ask you, and you have to consent or not. You are free to say no. And they are not angry then with you if you say no. They know what is true, and they will knock on your door again and again and again. And they never give up, trying to reach your heart and your soul, to touch you and to bring you to the right action, the right way to answer. So if you don't understand that yet, don't worry. They will come again as long as you need to get it. Isn't that wonderful? That's really selfless. That's really unconditional love. So, what I wanted to share with this whole talk is we have in our world hierarchy, above and below. And if you admire a person and put them on a pedestal, they don't do it, you do it. Then there will come the day, because it's still polarity, if you look up to someone, that includes also the polar, contrary, the opposite, to look down upon someone or something. So you will get them off the pedestal. They did not put themselves on, but you put them on. And you will tear them down, and then you will look down upon them, and you're still acting in duality. And nothing of that is really true and really matters, but it can be very hurting sometimes, especially for the one who was put on the pedestal without even wanting that. So I don't like to be admired. Some of you wrote, well, that's nice and kind, I get it, but please don't admire me. I'm on my journey like you are. I make mistakes, but I'm open and willing to learn. And I don't insist on being right, you know. If someone insists on being right, then he lost it. You can be sure of that. The real one will always correct their own mistakes and will admit, oh, I made a mistake there. But I can do better, and I want to. That's all that's needed, this attitude. So we're all in this process, and we have to climb up the ladder. And if you're honest with yourself, you know where your issues are, where your flaws are. I know exactly where mine are. That's why I did not want to make this channel. I did not want to go public and be confronted with haters or head people that only listen to the words and don't get the energy touching their heart, yet closed maybe. But I pray and wish for them that the day will come, and it will come, that they are touched in their hearts and they answer. So the whole thing is about a process of climbing the ladder, going through the various steps. And this is divine order. And the archangels don't look upon other angels as less, or look down upon them or down upon us humans. They know in the divine blueprint we're all equal. It's all equal. We have the potential. If we don't develop it, well, up to us. They knock on our door again and again until we listen. So, the kind of mockery or imitation of divine order, because the counterforce cannot understand that. They are still in above and below, in duality. They just can't handle that, so they just imitate what they think they get from that. And they created hierarchy. One that is above and the other one that is below. Source and the higher planes don't deal with that nonsense. There is no above and below. And one of the, again, the 7 Hermetic principles, this is no coincidence. 7 tones, 7 notes in the music scala, in the music scale, 7 rainbow colors, 7 chakras, 7 Hermetic principles. One of them is dealing exactly with that. It's as above, so below. And you can make some alterations on that, which can also help you if you just move it or change it into as within, so without. Then you have the mirror effect, which is kind of the outside world. We think that really exists. It's just mirroring what's inside of us. So if you go into your bathroom in the morning and you frown at your mirror, how can you expect the mirror to smile back at you? You have to start to smile first. Then the mirror is forced to smile back at you. Please get it. Simpler, I cannot explain it. So it's all about divine order, and you cannot make the 3rd step before the 1st. Well, you can try that, but it's set up for failure. And you will only hurt yourself and maybe hurt others. And you have to go back and return to the 1st step and start there again. So that's why I don't understand that there are so many people out there on YouTube selling all their courses and their books and their master courses and their steps and this and that, and inviting you to open up your 3rd eye without caring whether the lower chakras are functioning well, are cleared and healed. Because if you open up your 3rd eye chakra with a not healed root chakra, you will get yourself in trouble. And I had my own experiences when I, impatient as I am, one of my flaws, tried to skip some steps. It's not working. If you really want to do your spiritual path well and get the wings, that starts here, going back to the staff of Hermes, the 3rd eye, the inside, the inner side can grow your wings. We're all meant to fly. We're conscious beings, and this is only a reflection from the higher planes of our soul into the material. And we are taught this is all that is. No, it is not. There's so much more. Okay, I cannot talk any longer. I'm through. I hope you find something, some hints in there. It's the best I could do right now with the knowledge and the words I have. I would love to give a message just in sound. Maybe I will do one day with the help of the Hathors and just do a little overtoning, and then you have no words to cling on. Your ego and your intellect cannot analyze words and letters and meanings, and it might be bored to death and then loosen its grip onto you, and you can just flow with the sound that's always there, all around us, within us, and in all that is. That's why I love a lot of the Hindu tradition with this wonderful saying, Nada Brahma, the world is sound, and creation can happen every minute within you. You are the waters below, although there is no below. And the Divine Spirit is hovering in the upper chakras and is sounding and speaking and communicating all the time if you just let it happen. So now I'm through. Thank you very much for watching, dear souls. Blessings, love, and light onto your path. Bye.